If you ever dream of a day when cruising goes back to all-inclusive, old-school midnight buffets, no nickel dining experience. First of all, it was never, well, Royal Caribbean was never all-inclusive. This is like a big, major misconception in the cruise industry, okay? Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian have never been all-inclusive. The nickel and diming, this is really interesting because here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to flip the script on you. I'm going to say this. If something's included, you pay for it. Just it's the reality. I don't care whether or not you want it to be the case. If Wi-Fi, shore excursions, gratuities, what am I forgetting, guys? Especially dining, if they're included and you don't pay anything extra for it, you know what that's called? Silver Sea. Go look at how much Silver Sea costs. Come back to me on that. It is, people call it nickel and diming. This is modular. This is what people actually want. What do you mean? Like that's crazy, Matt. Why would someone want that? Well, remember, not everyone wants a shore excursion, Wi-Fi, a drink package, specialty restaurants, or gratuities included. Now, I want some of those included. I would love if gratuities and Wi-Fi were included because I buy that every single cruise. But not everybody does that. Sharon Stockman may not do that, right? Tony Diaz may do that. The point is that the cruise lines kind of figured out for mass market cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, it's actually better for both the cruise line and the consumer to have it like this. And what I mean by that is for the cruise line, it's good because they can advertise a lower rate. For the consumer, it's good because you are not paying for things you're not using, right? You still have choices in there's included drinks versus a drink package. There's shore excursions or doing nothing at all. There is the main dining room or specialty restaurants. I get it that it seems like there's more of those choices, but that's by design and also by demand because again, if they included that, the price is going up. They're not going to say, okay, well, whatever the price is today, you're paying the same exact price, and we're going to include chops and this and that. It was never all inclusive. Now, the midnight buffets, Tim, is something that absolutely was a thing and no longer a thing there. The reason why midnight buffets don't exist anymore is because back in the day, there was only the main dining room and the Windjammer for meals. So there wasn't Johnny Rockets, Playmakers, Sorrentos. And so people there was nothing to eat after a certain hour. So they offered the midnight buffet as an option. But as time has gone on, it's not really needed anymore because there's so much more variety of food. And that's the reason why. Now, you might say, well, certainly some things, I'll change your question slightly, Tim. I'm going to say, how about room service? Room service used to be included. Now that's an extra cost, right? And that's a fair point right there. I doubt it. I'll be honest with you. I just don't. I think the industry changes all the time, which it does. But I think the industry also kind of sees, the marketplace dictates in a large respect what the industry does. And I just think at the end of the day, they try to find that balance of what consumers want, what their bottom line is looking at, and try to find the best thing there. It's probably not the answer. This is all to say, everything I've probably said is not what you wanted to hear, except for maybe the midnight buffet. And by the way, I don't think the midnight buffet is ever coming back. I think maybe as a goof, like once in a blue moon, but I really don't think they'll ever bring that back. But cruising was never all inclusive. It's always had this element of some things are included, a lot of it is included, right? But not everything. And I really believe that's by design. And let me give you an example, a quick. I know I've spent a lot of time on this, Tim. It's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it. Celebrity cruises. Let me bring this up as the last point on this. Celebrity, if you guys remember, a year or two ago, rolled out always included, which included Wi-Fi, gratuities, some drinks, and maybe something else. And it was like we're going to include this with our cruise fare. You get it in there, good to go. Well, guess what they did? They altered it, and now gratuities are extra, sort of, just like they are with Royal Caribbean. They took it out of the all-inclusive. Why? Because there were a lot of people who got upset that the gratuities were included and didn't want to have it there. So, that's a long, 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 long way of me saying, no, I don't think that'll happen. What are you going to ordering at Mason Jar for brunch? everything. I mean, the nice thing is because it's just a cover charge. Just try a bunch of things. I mean, a lot of people like the pimento cheese. I didn't like it, Melanie, but maybe you will. That's just an appetizer. The red velvet pancakes were really good. I like that quite a bit. The Cinnabon looks better than it tastes. I thought it was a little dry for my taste, but maybe they something a little bit better coming up for maybe they changed it or you'll get a better batch. But the red velvet pancakes were really really nice. My wife and I are my time dining, so not the same stuff every day. Any suggestions on tips? Actually, you are covered with the automatic gratuity. The whether you prepay it or it's daily, that covers the main my time dining. So that is total like the automatic gratuity is totally satisfactory. Like, don't feel like you're under doing anything there. That's totally fine. So, and if you're getting different staff every night, I might tip them. If one of them really stands out. But you should feel good about that automatic gratuity. You lay out the pros and cons of terminal parking versus third party parking. I have a strong opinion on this, Teddy. I think it's worth it to park at the cruise terminal every single time. Why? Well, offsite parking can be cheaper. That's the number one best reason to park offsite. It will save you money. The reason why I'm not number one, the reason why I'm against it, first of all, you won't save yourself that much money. It's not like it's like insanely cheaper. Usually the pricing is competitive, but not like bottom rate. Number two, you're going to be reliant on a shuttle service to get you from the offsite parking to the terminal and then back again. Now, depending on the operation, there's two problems with that. One, how often do they run the shuttle? Two, how busy are they? I hate waiting around, and that seems like unnecessary waiting for it. Number three, parking at the cruise terminal, while it does cost more money, is insanely more convenient. You just walk off the cruise ship, through the terminal, into the garage, on your way. Really, really easy. I think the convenience factor is the most important reason why it's so worth it. Because when you're like on embarkation day, I mean, you're excited and but you have a little more patience. When it's the morning of the cruise, your cruise is over, you're tired, you just want to get on the road and get going. The last thing you want to do is sit around and wait for a shuttle back to the offsite parking. So those are the reasons. Those are the pros and cons, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm painting with a wide brush for the offsite parking in general, but I just don't think it's worth it. I think you're just better off parking at the terminal. But that's just me. I personally value time over money. Like I'm willing to pay more for a faster experience, personally. But that's just me. Regarding Perfect Day Coco Key, what's the best beach place to go to for a chill day with minimum foot traffic? Minimum foot traffic is not, I don't know how realistic that is. I don't want to make it seem like anything I'm about to tell you is truly be minimal. The only one that has the beach with the most minimal foot traffic is by far the Cocoa Beach Club, because the Cocoa Beach Club has a very restrictive um, number of people that can go there. So by definition, that is the answer. That being said, you don't need to pay $300 or $200 a person to do that. I think you're overpaying for that, quite frankly. There are other benefits of the Cocoa Beach Club besides that, but to answer your question as directly as I can, the number one answer would be Cocoa Beach Club. Beyond that, in South Beach, if you continue walking down South Beach, it gets progressively less busy. Chill Island, by its name, is designed to be very chill and relaxing, but it does get busy over there. I don't know that it's really, if you're looking for minimum foot traffic, that's not necessarily the beach for that. It's not crowded, but it's not dead either, if that makes sense. So I don't know how helpful that was, Teddy, but I'm hopeful that somewhere in the middle there you'll find. Actually, as I'm thinking about it, Harbor Beach might actually be the least busy free beach. Harbor Beach is it's that cove when you first get to Coco Key. It's right next to Captain Jack's. There's that big fountain going out of it, but it doesn't get very busy because it's a very quiet beach. There's no entertainment. There is ocean water, but there's no real waves or a sandbar. I don't know. It just doesn't get as popular, but maybe that might be my choice for a free one. Brilliance of the Seas is coming to New Orleans Port 2024. What are your thoughts on the ship? Any tips for bringing kids? I love Brilliance. When you ask me a question like this, Cassie, here's the thing. It really doesn't matter what I think about it. What matters is, what are you looking for in a cruise ship? What features do you want? Because, Brilliance doesn't have like water slides or a full Broadway show or a ton of specialty restaurants, but it still has a great classic cruising experience. I often say, actually, and you heard me talk about it a little earlier, if you hear at the very, very beginning, it's my favorite small ship in the fleet. It's my favorite Radiance class ship. I like it a lot. But don't just say, "Well, Matt said it was good, thus I should book it." It's more important to understand what it does and does not offer. And for tips for bringing kids, again, understand what it has. Adventure Ocean, it has a rock wall, it has activities for the kids on board. But compared to, say, Wonder of the Seas, it's night and day difference in terms of how much stuff there is, how much variety of activities there are for kids on a ship like Brilliance compared to Wonder. So just want to make sure that's very, very clear. We're planning to take Brightline from Orlando to Miami for the inaugural Icon selling. Have you done the Brightline yet? Yes, I've done it 3 times now, but I've only done it with myself, not with my family. But Brian, I'm going there for Thanksgiving with my family, with like checked luggage, doing the whole shebang. So I'll have a full review of that when I get back. But I can tell you, having done Brightline 3 times now, back and forth, Orlando to Miami, it is super easy, super great. I'm a big fan of it. It's not cheap, but it's way better than driving, in my opinion. And I've done premium every time, Brian, and it's worked out really, really well. I've been very happy with it every single time. What new megaship will not be so geared towards children? Wonder Icon are child magnets. I disagree with that idea. I mean, yeah, they're definitely more family focused, but Royal Caribbean has always been family focused. That's been in their DNA for decades now. Royal Caribbean is not Virgin Voyages. Like, it's not going to be. This has always been the case. So if your question is, are they going to build a ship for adults? No, absolutely not. They're always going to be a family-friendly cruise line. And the Icon stuff, yeah, there are a lot of family things on there, but there's also a lot of adult things on there. And more importantly, if you are somebody who doesn't want to partake in the family/kiddie stuff, good news. An entire neighborhood Surfside is going to draw so many kids away and back into that area. I think it's going to be a boon for adults, quite frankly. But really, if you're talking about any line that's not geared towards children, I mean, by definition, it's Virgin Voyages, because they're the only adults-only cruise line, right? Because the same thing happens on Carnival or Norwegian or Disney for sure, right? I mean, yeah. It would really be Virgin, or maybe a cruise line that's just stereotypically does not attract a lot of kids. Holland America, Princess to some extent, the luxury cruise lines, things like that. Yeah, I eventually want to cruise on each class of ship. If you could recommend only one from each class, what ships would you choose? Ooh. Rhapsody, Brilliance, Mariner, Freedom, Wonder, Odyssey, Icon. You don't have a choice. Icon. Guys, appreciate all your generosity and support. Thank you for being here. We'll be back again on Monday from Radiance of the Seas. I hope the internet works on Radiance as well as it did on Serenade. We'll be here, hopefully, internet permitting, from Radiance. Until then, guys, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun, like book another cruise. And we'll talk again very soon, right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.